Hello and welcome to our online marketing tourism webinar. I'm Rachel Major from the Entrepreneurs Program and I'll hand you over to your presenter today, Mr. David Inches. Hello, David.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Straight to the project for you.
That's it.
Jolly good introduction. Thank you. Welcome to webinar 2, the second in our series of 3, not to be mistaken with State of Origin 2, which of course is happening in a few days, Queensland. Thank you for attending today. We've got an hour and a half, which is plenty of time for questions. And so please, I'll encourage you to send those through and Rachel will answer those. And depending on how many questions will depend on how many we've got through. For those of you who are in the last workshop, in fact, it'd be great if we could actually put a question up on your screen just asking who was in the last workshop. It'd be great to get an idea of how many people were there. But I actually got some advice from my children for the last workshop, which really wasn't very helpful at all. So I thought I'd go a little further afield for this session. So I went to my mother. I thought, Mum's going to give me good advice. And she said, why don't you ask these real people for a real job? So that one didn't get me too far. And I asked my best mate, and he just said, you've got to stick it to the New South Wales people about State of Origin. And I've done that. So again, no support. So we'll bumble along as best we can today. For those of you who haven't met me before, my name is David Inches. I've been running a marketing consultancy for 10 years now, Inspired by Marketing. And before that, I was in a large tourism marketing and hospitality organisation down in Tassie. So Tassie born and bred, but I've been living in Cairns for the last 6 years. So a nice change of climate, but very similar. It's all about nature and tourism and the outdoors. So that's been a good move. And while I work across all industries, everything from aged care to financial planning, aquaculture, retail, tourism is where I got my grounding in marketing, and it's where I try and do as much work as possible because it's just a fabulous industry, and I'm very blessed to be working with so many great people on so many very interesting projects. Today we're talking about search engine optimization. So SEO is the short term you'll hear around, and this is really getting us up the Google rankings. We have our last session this week as well, which is all about social media. So by the time the series finishes, we will have completed a high-performance tourism website. And as I mentioned last week, that's the place you want to start. You want to have a high-performing website that performs incredibly well for your business. The next thing we want to do is get more people, more high-quality traffic to that site. And that search engine optimization is one of the elements in that. And then we want to really increase our reach of our content and our message, and that's the third session, which is social media. So again, thanks for coming along today, and it'd be wonderful if you could join us again on Thursday. Don't forget, though, that all 3 of these can be watched afterwards. So if for some reason you have to sneak off early or you can't make the next one, you can always register to the site and you can actually watch this in your own time. So I hope that's helpful. What today, and none of these sessions are, I wouldn't call them training sessions, because the best way for you to learn the details is really to jump online and Google what you'd like to know. And there will be so many videos, countless videos, where you can sit, watch and pause and test and trial things, sit at home with a coffee and relax and learn in your own time. So what I'm more interested in covering today is the broad range of topics or actions you're going to have to take or become proficient at to improve your SEO, to get that website up the rankings for what people are typing into Google. So there will be some things that I will go into a little bit more detail to help you along, but I do encourage you that if after today there are a few actions you'd like to take, yes, you can hire a consultant to come on in, but the first thing I would do is educate yourself. Because even when consultants come in to help you, it's very important you know enough to keep them on track. And I'll use some examples today in terms of things you've got to really watch out in this SEO space when you're working with third-party suppliers. So the outcomes of today, they're pretty simple. One is to understand the types of actions that will drive your website up the Google rankings. And I've also provided an SEO checklist, which you can download anytime you're ready. And you can either choose to fill that out now, or you can choose to go back after the webinar and just do a bit of an audit on yourself. And that will just give you a list of action items that you can prioritise, perhaps A, B, C, and that will allow you to progress down the path of improving your website optimisation. We'd also appreciate lots of questions, and Rachel's here today, so use lots of big words, really complicated names to try and stump us. So any questions, please send them through during the day or the session, and Rachel will interrupt me and we'll answer some of those questions. Excellent. There are three elements of today's webinar. The first one is your keyword strategy, and probably the most important. It's the foundation. So we'll talk about a keyword strategy, and we'll go into, I'll have to repeat a little bit of what I did in the last session, but we'll go into a little bit more depth today, and I'll show you some of the tools you can use to help set your own keyword strategy. The second is we'll have a look at what's called on-page SEO. So these are the things that you do on your website to get it up the Google rankings. And then we'll have a look at off-page SEO. So they're the things that you'll be doing outside of your website to assist with your ranking. One thing we know for certain is nobody really knows. So Google will release snippets of information. Some things they're very direct about what you need to do to elevate your position up the rankings. But they have never released a paper, so to speak, which gives you the top 10 things that you need to focus on. But there's, of course, a lot of conversation out there from a lot of consultants all across the world that try things, learn, watch results. And, all of that information is out there. So if you'd like to know more about SEO, there is just limitless information online. So if there's any specific element you'd like to know more about from today, I encourage you to jump on Google, type in a question, maybe use the search field to find content that's been published in the last 6 months or year. So you've got sort of up-to-date content, because it changes fairly frequently. And about every 6 months, Google will release a new update. This is probably the panda and penguin. They give them these wildlife names. You okay there? Okay there, Rachel? You still with me? You want a glass of water? Okay. Rachel's trying to throw me off my game. So look out for those updates. And when you hear word, maybe follow TechCrunch or Mashable, SEO, Social Media Examiner. There are lots of different companies that all they do is talk about this stuff. And if you follow them on your Facebook page or jump onto their email subscription, you'll find that there's just countless updates that you can keep up to date with. So we'll have a look at on-page and off-page. For me, why invest in SEO? It's quite simple, I think. It's in the industry we work in, we pay a lot on commissions, yeah? And who doesn't want to reduce their commissions? So whether it's through travel trade, the retail trade, or whether it's through the online, the OTAs, like a Booking.com or a Viator for attractions, or whoever it might be. So they're becoming so dominant that our commission levels are going through the roof. So what getting your website optimised for search will do is bring more customers direct to you. And I encourage you to have a look at your commission levels throughout the year. Form a view in terms of maybe how much of that business you might be able to bring across through optimisation, and have a look at the savings versus the cost. And use that as a bit of a guide. Watch how quickly the conversion's happening, and use that as a bit of a guide to look at your investment into SEO, because I've had some businesses that have saved remarkable levels on commission. When I'm a big believer in all channels, it's rare you've got a business where everything can come direct. So every channel has its place, but you just want to get that optimum mix for your business, which will mean you'll get as many direct bookings as possible, based on the amount of people that are searching, for in that direct market. So that's really the big reason why to invest in SEO. The other reason is the better your search, your keyword strategy in terms of connecting with the people that you're most likely to sell to, the higher the conversion. So if we bring just quality traffic to our website, people that are really looking for what we have to offer, we're more likely to convert those people to bookings. So what we'll talk a little bit about today is how important it is to get those keywords right, because we don't want to go too broad, because we'll be chasing large volumes of people that may not be that specific to our business, so we'll get a lot of dead traffic. Or the other option is we get too specific and there aren't enough people searching those words, so the people we get are relevant, but there just aren't enough of them to make enough money. So it's quite an art form in terms of setting that keyword strategy, and we'll go through that first up today. So, strategies and plans, keyword strategy. So just a few basics. A keyword could be a single word, or it could be a keyword phrase, and generally it's a keyword phrase. So accommodation in Darwin, things to do outside of Broome, car hire, Cairns. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to choose the keywords and the keyword phrases that are highly relevant to our business and have a reasonable volume of search. So that means we can actually look at how many people each month are typing in these keyword phrases. And as you can imagine, there are many variations on similar phrases. So the first tool I'm going to introduce you today is called SEMrush, and I'll introduce you to a free version of that. I subscribe to it. I also have some clients in different towns and places where they all chip in. I think maybe it's $150 a month I pay, and I know the others have, they all put in $25 a month, and they've got, they just share the password around. So there are different ways of getting hold of this content. You can also subscribe for a period of time and then let it go. But that's the tool we'll go into in just a minute, is the SEMrush tool. What we also want to do is we want to structure our website towards keywords. So we'll talk about that today as well. What we don't want to do is have a web page which has too many keywords on it, because Google won't be clear in terms of what that web page is trying to communicate. So once we understand what people are typing into Google, we want a page for that, page for the next thing, a page for the next thing. I'm working on a limousine business at the moment. We want a page for weddings, because we will optimize that page for all of the search terms to do with weddings and vehicles. We won't have that content really anywhere else. We'll have another page which will be more about corporate car hire. We'll have another page which will be all about the shuttle transfers. So each of these pages on our website will have a specific keyword strategy for that particular page. So when somebody types into Google cars, limousines for a wedding in Cairns, we want them to find that limousine page. We don't want them to find the home page, because they're just a click away from where they want to be. So the idea for specific searches is to optimize pages in our website. So you might find that after today, once you've set your keyword strategy, you might say, ooh, I've sort of got weddings here, 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 and here across my website, across 5 pages. Maybe I need to redesign and rebuild my site, so I've got a very clear channel for Google to find my content on weddings. It's also good for the customer, because then there's one page of all the content they need. They don't need to get a bit of content from here and a bit from there. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And I've got some examples of some businesses. We also want to make sure that we don't have any more than 10 keyword phrases, like maximum. We're trying to optimize our website for each page. There will be lots of variations, and Google will pick up on them naturally, but I'll show you some examples today how we just want a small group of keywords that we really focus everything on. In terms of looking at the keywords, this diagram explains, on the left we have high cost and competition. So for example, accommodation Cairns is a very broad keyword. There's a lot of people, including the big players, are going to be chasing accommodation Cairns or Darwin accommodation, or that's sort of very broad. So a lot of people are searching the broad terms, so there's a lot more competition, so it's a lot harder to rank. The further we go down, maybe my accommodation is apartment accommodation. So there are less people typing in something that's specific, but it's far more relevant to my business, and it's going to be a better quality of customer. Because if someone wants a B&B and I don't offer B&Bs and I spend a lot of money to get them under Cairns accommodation, or I've got the wrong style of accommodation, I'm paying to get traffic that's not relevant. We then go down a little further, and it might be waterfront apartment accommodation or luxury apartment accommodation. And there are variations on that. But the further we go down in our descriptors, the less people will be searching that in terms of volume. So we want to create that balance where we want a list of keywords per page where it's relevant and there's enough volume. And I'll show you soon how we use SEMrush to determine what those keywords and those volumes are. I won't go into AdWords today, but an AdWord campaign has to work in partnership with our SEO program. So our SEO program is designed, the outcome is to get our website up the Google rankings for what people are typing in. There will be some keywords, and maybe it is apartment accommodation in Cairns. Maybe we're ranking 6 or 7 at the moment, and we want to rank number 1, 2, or 3. We might buy some AdWords. So an AdWord is where we can pay to be at the top of the Google screen. And if somebody clicks on it, that will cost us. And it's in an auction. So it might cost us $2, $3, $4 to actually to get that click. And what we will be doing is, because it's important to capture that traffic, we might pay to be up there until we get what's called our organic ranking. So we need to be tracking our progress in terms of how our performance with these keywords are creeping up Google. So once apartment accommodation sneaks up into the top 3, we might turn off the AdWord that we've got running, and we might put that money towards another ad that we're not ranking for. Once you're ranking really well for your top 5 or 6, you'll actually run AdWords for the really specific ones. So luxury 2-bedroom apartment accommodation in Cairns. And you run AdWords for a great string of those, many, many variations, because the AdWord doesn't cost you anything unless somebody clicks it. So AdWords are for another session. But it's just important to remember that an AdWord campaign may be a good idea just as you're trying to get some of your priority rankings up to the top of Google. So there might be a bit of a temporary thing for you, so you don't have to wait, which can be 6 months, to really start firing up that performance. This is a client which is just getting started, Hinchinbrook Adventures. They're based in Hinchinbrook. So this is a keyword strategy that we've just pulled together for them. And you can see on the left-hand side there, we have a table. And these are the keywords that we're going to be optimising the homepage for. Hinchinbrook Adventures have fishing charters. They also connect with people walking on the island. There are also scenic flights. I just left that table off because it didn't fit. But our homepage is going to be optimised for more generic keywords. So Hinchinbrook Island has a really big search volume. Hinchinbrook, Port Hinchinbrook, Hinchinbrook Island National Park, the Hinchinbrook Channel. You'll also notice there are 2 misspellings of Hinchinbrook Island. What we'll be doing is we don't want to misspell Hinchinbrook on our website, but we'll be running an AdWord campaign targeting people that misspell Hinchinbrook Island. So that will be a continuous campaign because we never want to rank for poor spelling, so we'll always be there with that AdWord campaign to pick anybody up who's misspelling it. Then you can see down below, there are keywords. So we've sort of filled our quota for the homepage with those generic terms. And I'll use Peregrine Adventures in a minute for how they structured theirs with generic terms. Then there are high volume keywords you can see here. So 480 a month. People are searching the Thorsbourne Trail. And that's the main walk down the east coast of the island. It's very popular. So anybody who's looking to visit Hinchinbrook as a region, we want to get in front of them to offer them a boat-based product that they can use in conjunction with the walk, or maybe they'd like to do a scenic flight before or after, do some heli fishing. There are lots of different options. So there are people out there looking for details on the island. So we'll have a page specifically on that. So we can optimise well for content on people looking to walk and camp on the island. Top right-hand corner, we don't offer any accommodation, but people wanting to use our products, our experiences, they will need to stay somewhere. There's really strong search for accommodation terms, so we will have a specific page where we're looking to, we will present accommodation of other businesses in the region. We could set that up to be commissionable. We haven't decided if we will yet. And then there's a charter fishing page, which spreads a little bit further than Hinchinbrook, because anybody coming to Townsville or close by would also like to put the Hinchinbrook product on their radar. So you can see here that this website has 4 really important pages, and each of them have a very distinct keyword strategy. Further down that page, there are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 variations that sound similar to those keyword phrases. But these are the ones with the highest search volume. So they're relevant and they've got the volume, so we will chase them. And I'll talk through this session about how what we actually do with this keyword strategy, because we will be applying this keyword strategy to many different aspects of our program. So I'll talk back to this keyword strategy a number of times today. A technical question. Excellent.
So we've got a technical question through from Anne. So just in regards, she's in a bit of a remote, isolated area and her reception's not great today.
Sure.
So she wants to know if she'll be able to re-watch the webinar later. So I just wanted to confirm, as you said before, it's downloadable. And once you register, you can follow your link and you can watch it at any time.
Perfect.
So confirm that one.
Absolutely. You can watch it as many times as you want, but I'm sure once will be enough. Thank you. Thank you very much. So our keyword strategy is a really important part. Now, what you need to be careful of here, now I don't believe there are any consultants out there looking to mislead you, but I have had many experiences where I go into a company and they have been misled. And that's often because in this game of digital and keyword optimization, look, the reality is there are a lot of very young account managers, and all good intentions, that they can not understand the commercial realities around your business. So it's really important that you brief and be on top of how this keyword strategy is put together if it's being advised to you. If you've got an Outback four-wheel drive tour company and you're in 5 locations and you're optimising the homepage to the Simpson Desert product, which has happened to me recently, I've come into a business, you're optimising your homepage for one very specific market opportunity. It's actually a really easy market opportunity for that company to rank you for, because there aren't that many people searching it, therefore there aren't that many companies chasing it, so therefore they show reports to you with really good performance indicators. So really important that you really drive this keyword strategy and ask any company that's putting a keyword strategy to you, please make sure that you ask to see a table like this. You want to know the keywords with the search volumes next to them. Really important that you keep an eye on that. What we might do is just actually flick across to a few websites, and I'm going to use the same websites I used for the other session because they're really good examples, I think. Now this is for a tour company. It could be a rent-a-car company, it could be a restaurant, it could be accommodation. It really makes no difference. But I think these are 2 very good examples of really well optimised websites. And one place we need to optimise a website is what we call the front end. So when I say the front end, we're talking about the actual words that are sitting on your website. So I'll just flick across to the web now. Thank you very much. So Peregrine Adventures. What we've got here, the first thing I notice is the address of their website and the name of their website, Peregrine Adventures. Now they may have just, by chance, named it Peregrine Adventures. Maybe they've added adventures to it recently, I don't know. But having the word adventures is really important because adventure is clearly a key search term for this business. So having it up in your page title, your URL, is really advantageous to you, because how you structure your URLs up the top, and we'll have a look at some other examples as we go through, is really important to how Google views your page and its relevance. So we'll keep coming back to having the right words in this string of content up the top. You can also see here the spirit of adventure. So adventure, this is probably their page title. When Google comes to your website, it has a look at your site title, your page title, then it looks at what's called an H1 header, which is probably this content here, and then it looks at your H2 header, which could be these ones here, and you've got a choice about this, but Google will prioritise which content it looks at first, second and third. So it's really important we have our keywords according to that hierarchy that Google looks at your site. So the spirit of adventure, it's right up front for them. Here we've got, at Peregrine, we embrace the spirit of adventure. They're hitting it again. For us, that means delivering exceptional travel experiences to our passengers by providing them premium adventures. So we're adding to adventure now with premium adventure for over 80 destinations around the globe. So we've only got adventure twice in that paragraph, which is good. If we set it 2 or 3 times, Google will consider us to be spamming. So it's really important when we write our copy that it still communicates beautifully, but we're always linking back to that keyword strategy. When we sneak down here to the next level of content, you can see here, it means hand-picked accommodation, intimate small groups, another important keyword string for them, award-winning, local guides is important, added inclusions, and a slower, more considered pace is just nothing keyword there. Premium has come in again. Premium stands for an exceptional experience, but never an artificial one, welcoming a new style of adventure travel. So you can see here they're bringing in their keywords. So I can see intimate small group. We can see award-winning, local, guides, accommodation, premium adventure. That's starting to really look at their keyword strategy. We then hear exclusive small group holiday packages, more keywords. Here they're really just putting a product here, but Morocco was a very important keyword for them because it's one of their destinations. Here, Arctic is an important keyword for them there. Again, quality accommodation, intimate small groups, exceptional local experiences. So you can see their 5 or 6 keywords coming through very strongly. Expert local guide. Employ local guides. Keyword rich again. And then we have other keywords. So for a business that operates across many locations, the destination keywords. So on the home page, they're optimizing for small group, intimate, adventure, premium, all of those broader keywords. And those keywords will actually flow through every page. But what they'll do is when they get to Africa, they will, you'll have the word Africa, any search terms that are particularly relevant to Africa. So it could be wildlife or specific types of wildlife. It could be regions of Africa. It could be a particular behaviour about how people want to behave on an African tour. But it will always have intimate, small group, adventure, guides, premium, accommodation. They'll flow right through. So it's important to have that keyword strategy for all of your pages. We'll just have a look at Intrepid. Similar sort of thing. In Intrepid, we'll just go back to their home page. It's the same sort of thing. Small groups, adventures, Intrepid travel. Our small group style, so the local way to sleep, the local way. So they're both chasing the same keywords because they've both done the same research and they're both in the same market. Polar, wildlife, urban, sailing, food. So I think that demonstrates how important that keyword strategy is at that front level. But what you need to do, of course, is you need to come up with your keyword strategy. So what I'm going to do here is show you a tool called SEMrush, semrush.com. I think it's au.com, that's it. Now, I'm actually logged in here, but what I'm going to do is the place to start is let's actually have a look at Intrepid Travel. I'm just going to copy their website address. So you can do this with your own website address. I'm going to paste it up here. I'm just going to delete the HTTP. And what I'm going to do is ask for an organic research report. So what this is doing, you can do this for your competitors as well. So you can actually see of your top competitors which keywords, key phrases, how many keywords they have in terms of where they're ranking. So what this is showing us here is that Intrepid Travel have 31,000 keywords recognised by Google. Now it's a big website with a lot of keywords. A lot of those keywords will be irrelevant. They won't be high volume. It's saying as an estimate maybe 100,000 visitors a year come to the website. If you were to pay with advertising for that, it might cost you $173,000. Really don't worry about that figure. But what it's showing here is what we're ranked for. We've got, so Intrepid or Intrepid Travel, as you'd expect, we're ranked number 1. In the brackets, it's showing us whether that's a local search or not. So you can see here, for people in Australia, they're ranked number 1, probably not so relevant. So the search volume is 6,600 people a year are typing direct into Google. It's an estimate. And they're really the only figures that you need to worry about. I wouldn't worry about the rest of this. This traffic here says that 17% of their traffic comes from that keyword, So, but I think you really just need to worry about what your current ranking is and what the volume is. And then you can go through the exercise to see, well, which ones are relevant, which ones are not so relevant. You can also search the position. Let's maybe search by volume. So it will show us the keywords. Now these are keywords our site is currently ranking for. So this is a bit of a line in the sand to see where you're at now. I've clicked the wrong way. Inside Out, odd. Not sure what exactly what people are searching there. Those adventurers out there might know something I don't. But if we look down the rankings here, Kathmandu, it's obviously a very broad search term. So you can see some of these, may not be so relevant. What they're going to be looking for is their adventure travel. So we're ranking here 43, 7, 25, etc. So not every keyword is relevant to your business. So what we're looking to do is to, out of the current keywords you rank for, you need to export this report and you need to print it out and you need to go through, keep getting it the wrong way, you need to go through and decide which keywords are relevant to your business, and the report is exported in an Excel spreadsheet. And then you need to decide, of the ones that are relevant, order them in order in terms of the search volume. Then you need to break them up by page. So remember that Hinchinbrook Adventures that I had a look at here? So you can see here they're ranking number 1 for tours Perth to Broome, India and Nepal tours, travel to Antarctica, Africa guided tours, Intrepid travel agents, tours to Korea. So you can see here these are really highly relevant search terms that they're ranking number 1 for. It also shows you the page here that's actually ranking. I can't move that. But you can see here their Antarctica page is ranking for travel to Antarctica. The Africa page for Africa. So they're doing a wonderful job at ranking each page for a specific keyword strategy. So they're certainly one of the benchmarks in terms of businesses that I have seen that have managed to rank very specifically. And when you get further down that list, you'll start to see adventure tours. So they become less specific. At the top here, we've got tours of Antarctica, which is very, very broad. The further down that list, and we won't go right down, but you'll start to see the words adventure, small group, all of those sorts of words will come into their search terms as well. The other thing we can do is we can actually, if I can find it, organic research. We click here, we can do a thing called a phrase match. So this isn't looking into your, we won't use this to look into your current website. So if I had an adventure tour business in Darwin, I could type in Adventure Tours Darwin. What will happen is if there aren't many people searching it, there will just be a dash. So this is showing us, this is the annual. Okay, so this is saying that 70 people have typed in Adventure Tours Darwin. Adventure Tours in Darwin is another search term, which will have a different volume. Darwin Adventure Tours is a different one again. So every search term is very specific. So I can see here that 70 people have typed in that. But what I might like to do is instead of phrase match, I can go related keywords. So this is the process you go through. Once you've had a look at what your current website ranks for and you've decided which ones are relevant and which ones have the highest search volume, then we can start going into this related keywords. Now, if I haven't, just have to wait for that to come up. Bit slow. Let's just maybe try Adventure Tours. Okay, so this is giving us the variations. So Adventure Tour, Adventure Tours, the different search. Adventure Trips, Tour Adventure, Adventure Trips. So as you can see here, we've got lots of variations. So what you can do is export this. I'm going to just search it by volume. Upside down, Miss Jane, again. Rachel's laughing at me right now, everybody. So we can see here that if we look by search volume, so Kangaroo Island is clearly a related term, it looks like, to adventure. Intrepid, that shows how powerful they are. Gecko. So we want to go down here and start to find Outback Adventures. 1,300 a year for Outback Adventures. How relevant is that to our business? Do we have to go a little further down here to get Outback Adventure Tours maybe, which is more specific, adventure holidays? So it's a really manual process. I recommend you do it on your own and take this to a professional, a service supplier, get their input, but show them that you understand that keyword strategies must be set to volume and relevance. That's the big takeout out of this part of the session today. So getting your keyword strategy set up from the beginning is one of the most important things you do, because otherwise you'll be heading the wrong way. You'll be chasing the wrong keywords. So all of the activity you do, if they're after keywords that are too broad, or they're after keywords that are not relevant enough, or there's not enough search volume for them, you're really wasting your time. So very important step.
Another question?
Excellent.
So we have a question that's popped through from Carolyn, and Carolyn asks, is there any way of finding out this information without subscribing to SEMrush?
Yes, there's another tool which is called the Google Keyword Tool. Now you'll have to be, it's a little harder to use, it's a little more of a manual process. If you search how to use the Google Keyword Tool, there'll be a little training video, there'll be heaps of training videos on it. So that is free. And that has all of the information on there that you need. It's just a little bit more training and effort to pull the information together. You'll have to have a Google account to access that. You might even have to sign up for AdWords. That won't cost you anything, it won't commit you to anything, but it's actually an AdWord tool. So the Google Keyword Tool helps you set up your advertising, your AdWords, based on the keywords and the volumes that we were just looking at. So good question, I should have mentioned that, so thank you for that question. Yeah, Google Keyword Tool is the answer. Thank you very much. Okay, the other thing that is really clever about SEMrush is it can track your progress. So I remember before I was saying that it's very well to set a keyword strategy, but it's going to take time for different pages to rank on different keyword phrases. So very important that we track our progress. Now there is not a free tool for this. I don't know if SEMrush, the free version, will let you do any tracking. It might give you one account with limited access. But as I said, I would encourage you to partner with other tourism operators in the region, and you can all get access to SEMrush. But this is showing us here, this is for a Cairns attraction. I've just removed the name of the operator, but we've actually put in a group of keywords for this business. I think it's about 30 keywords. And you can see up the top there, we've got 10.62. Oh, there's the business, that's okay. 10.62 visibility for these keywords. So we haven't started on this project, but what we'll be looking to do is improve our performance on that type of keyword for this organisation. And this shows us that we've got a 10.62% visibility. This business has through the roof visibility on other keywords that are really valuable to their business. So this is just an exercise to say, let's just look at the ones where we think we can improve our performance and get a bit of a step up there. So this report will show you where we're at now and in the last week, whether it's changed or not. So that's an important tool to actually track the progress of your keywords, to make sure they are actually going up the Google rankings as you're putting all the time and effort. And particularly if you have a supplier, you want to make sure that the money you're paying that supplier in time, that keyword is starting to creep up those Google searches. And you can also add up to 3 competitors' websites to that as well. So if you would like to have a look that say you've got 5 pages of your website and you've got 7 pages, 7 keyword phrases for each page, so there's 34 keywords that you've determined to be your top keyword phrases for your site. You can add those into SEMrush, and you can actually put your top 3 competitors in SEMrush as well, and SEMrush will tell you how your competitor is ranking and if their rankings are changing on those keywords, as it will give you advice on your own. SEMrush isn't 100% accurate. I don't know, maybe you could say it's 90%, which is certainly accurate enough to understand your progress and help you make changes and continually refine your strategy. If you have a supplier, really important, you're pushing them to improve the performance. It's very squeaky wheel in terms of this industry. There are a lot of companies out there servicing a lot of websites. So if you sit back and let your campaign, your optimization campaign, set and forget, where you trust the professionals and get back to doing other things, you certainly will not optimize your results. It's very important you keep regular contact and you've got the tools, or at least even if they've got the SEMrush, make sure you get the right reports so you understand exactly what you need to optimize and track that performance. If you're doing your own keyword research, so another way to do it is just to jump onto Google and actually type in Cairns car rental and see where your website actually pops up. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what you need to do is you need to open up what's called a private window. This is in Safari. It'll be different in Chrome and different browsers. But if you just type in to Google, how do I open up a private browser or a private window using Chrome, the answer will be there. And what this does is this blocks off the tracking data that sits in your computer. So if I was looking at my car rentals company's website and I'm typing in car rental regularly into my normal browser, Google will see that I'm visiting car rental businesses, and therefore it will rank that business better on Google than it actually is for the public, because it's tracking that I've been to this website before. So it deems it to be relevant to me, so it will rank it higher. If you open up what's called a private window, Google will take away that tracking data and you'll get a completely blank window view. So that will give you, that's the longest manual way to do it. But if you ever want to track how you're ranking in Google, make sure you open that private window, because if you don't, you're going to show higher than you actually are ranking. So that's important. So that was really just a bit of a chat about that keyword strategy, and it is the most important thing that we'll talk about today. In terms of some other things we need to do, and we'll talk about how we apply that keyword strategy through this last session, but Google has come out, it must have been a couple of years now, and they have said to us, if your website is not mobile responsive, which means it works beautifully on a mobile phone or a tablet or a laptop or a big iMac or whatever size screen you've got. So what happens is the website will detect the device that it's being viewed on, and it will rearrange so the layout is perfect for that device. If you don't have a mobile responsive website, you will be punished in terms of your Google rankings, because Google has said, look, the use of mobile phones is going through the roof, so that's how the customer is behaving, so you need to respond to that customer need. So if you haven't taken the time, the money, the effort to make your website so it's usable on many devices, we're going to put you down the Google rankings. They won't tell you how big a penalty it is or the weighting of that, but they've definitely said that sites that are not, they just call them mobile friendly, responsive design, you will be penalised in terms of your ability to rank up Google. You might notice too, when you search into Google, it'll actually say mobile friendly on the search term in Google. So that's telling the consumer that when you're searching, oh, that's a mobile friendly site, I'll click on that. Because, you know, I'm on my phone and the last thing I want is a not mobile friendly site. You know, it's when you have to zoom and move across the page and you get lost. They're old websites. So in terms of if you're serious about getting your website up the rankings, getting that quality traffic, reducing your commissions, increasing your direct, you will have to take the step, and it is a rebuild of your website. You can't, it's just not practical to take a current website and to make it mobile responsive. It's far more practical to upgrade your website and to rebuild it. So really important that you move towards a mobile responsive website. There are also a number of technical aspects that Google will look at when it looks at your website. And you know, a lot of these are things that I don't know how to do, but your web developer will know how to do. So I'm just going to sneak onto the internet now and show you. We're actually going to run a live. So we're going back into SEMrush. And what we'll actually do is start up a project. Okay, I'm just going to a site. I'm going to grab that web address. And I'm going to create a project. There's the domain name. Now you will have to have the paid version to be able to do this, or find someone that does. Again, if you're engaging a supplier, they will give you this health check. But this is where we set up the position tracking, so we actually type in the keywords and we have a look at the performance and we track the performance of the keywords. But let's just set up a site audit. So 100 pages, that'll be fine for this one. Start site audit. So this will only take a few minutes, but what this is doing is it's actually going through our website and it's going to give me a list of against some indicators, and it'll tell me what's healthy, what's broken, if there are any issues that I need to fix. And all you really need to do with this report is take it to your web developer or go to your web developer and say that you're aware of SEMrush and that you would like them to run a health check on your website. This won't be 100% accurate, but it gives you a great indication of how healthy the site is. So this site's under rebuild at the moment, so I'm showing you the current website, which is full of issues. And I'll just show you how you can have a look at them. So we've got 219 errors, 286 warnings, and that's obviously a significant issue. We've got 138 internal images are broken. So there are pictures on this website which don't have content behind them. And for some reason they're broken. It could be that they're the wrong size resolution. It could be that they're meant to be linking somewhere and they're not. We've got 64 images that don't have alt attributes. I'll show you what that is in a minute. So when Google comes to your website, it can't read a picture, but you can go into the back end of your website, and I'll show you that in a minute, and you can actually put a title in for that image. Google will read those titles. They call them alt text or alt attributes. So when Google comes to the website, if you've got names to the pictures in the back of your website, Google can read that content. It's all good for your optimization. You also need to have your language declared on your website. It takes 2 minutes to do. Your web developer will do it. And if we have a look at all these issues, it gives us a full report. We can see here the things in the green. The green things are good. We've got 23 pages don't have title tags. So remember I was saying that we can actually set up our headings so we have an H1 and an H2 or a page title. This is saying that this hasn't been done in this website. So we don't have our header content in this website set up as title tags. 22 pages have duplicate content, and Google doesn't like that, and we'll talk about that soon. We're duplicating our title tags, so even though the pages that do have these headings, they're the same right through the website. Google doesn't like duplicate content. 16 pages have got duplicate meta descriptions. I'll show you what that is. This is more back-end content. So you can take this report through to your web developer and say, let's get together on fixing this. So 35 pages have a low text ratio. That means there's not enough words on the page to rank in Google. So I'll leave that with you, but it's just a really important step you can take to understand the health of your website from a technical perspective, because Google will look at that, look at all of these issues, and if your site is deemed to have lots of errors through it, as you'd expect, Google will deem that you're not paying the right attention to your website, and it will drop it down the rankings. So a critical first step in terms of either fixing the issues on your current website, or even when you get a new website built, make sure that in the cost that the organisation is going to optimise your website. It's very common for someone to deliver you a website at the cheapest possible price. You're saying, look, that's a good deal. But what they haven't done is they haven't done any of the copy optimization on the front. They haven't prepared you a keyword strategy. They haven't put all of those image descriptions. They haven't put the meta descriptions. They haven't put the title tags. So there's almost as much work and cost in terms of optimizing a website for search as there is to build it. So very important that you make sure that whoever's building a new website for you, if you decide you'd like to go to mobile responsive, that they're optimizing it for you as well. If somebody has just built you a new website, run this on it, and you will see how well it's been optimized for you. Okay, we'll just... Excellent. So what I might do is just before we talk about original content, I'm sorry, I'm just going to jump back to the web because I'd like to show you the back end of a website. So this is a WordPress website. WordPress is a very common platform, and as a WordPress website here, we've actually plugged in a tool called Yoast. And Yoast is a tool that helps me optimize my website. I can see here that Lena of Hobart is one of my properties. I can see here that I've got a green light for optimization, so I've done the right things. My SEO title for that page is Lena of Hobart Accommodation. I want the word accommodation is very important, and I want the property name in case somebody searches it. My description's nice and tight. Stay with Lena of Hobart Accommodation in Battery Point, metres from Salamanca Market, perfect for short breaks, events, touring and self-drive holidays. All of this content is loaded in the back end of the website. And my keyword focus is Lena of Hobart Accommodation, which matches with my title. So Yoast is telling me that I've got a green light. It's telling me down here I've got an orange light, some little things that I need to do some work on. And when there's a red light, that's when you really want to get concerned and you need to do a little more work. If we actually go and do a quick edit, it's probably not. I can't actually get in there, that's okay. But again, we haven't got time today to go through a Yoast training program, but if you plug in Yoast, if you look for a Yoast training video, there'll be hundreds of them online. So that's a really important tool that you can go through to optimize your keywords in the back end of your website. Okay, so back to your original content, really just a comment on original content. Google loves original and it hates duplicate because Google is all to do with sharing new and original content. So if you have copy and pasted content off another website you've got, or you've got the same paragraph on 2 or 3 pages, Google will rank you down because you're not making an effort to put forward original content to Google. It's something I don't have an answer for, but I'm wary of it. So and Google has told us that it doesn't like duplicate content, and you probably noticed in that health check that the health check was telling us, it was warning us of duplicate content, duplicate title tags and meta tags. We've all copy and pasted content and put it with the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, or we put it on Booking.com or Viator. Now, I can't get an answer in terms of whether that is considered to be duplicate content, and therefore we're being penalised for it. My view is re-author your content, which just means rewording it slightly for all of these major booking sources. It's just not worth the risk given Google has told us that it does not like duplicate content. So if you're sending some content off to Booking.com or off to What If or anywhere for that matter, I strongly recommend you take the time just over the next few months, just as you can, just go in and make a few changes so that so each of the sentences are not word for word. It doesn't matter when you've got a list of your room types and that dot point is fine, but when you've got big sentences and paragraphs, Google will detect duplicate content and mark you down. It wouldn't surprise me if these large engines have an agreement with Google or Google recognises them, so it's not an issue, but I can't get an answer on it, so I recommend that you make it original.
Question regarding Yoast.
The question with Yoast?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
So Joanne's written in and she wants to know if it's for free.
Yoast is a free plugin, most certainly. So it doesn't cost you anything. The only cost is either engaging someone to Yoast your site for you or just a time premium in terms of educating yourself. But of course, you've got to have that rock-solid keyword strategy by page set, and then you optimise your website using Yoast. And there are others. That's the one I'm familiar with. It's the dominant platform. It's called a WordPress plugin, and it is free, which is good. Thank you. The other thing Google will have a look at for you is the last session we did was all about creating a high-performance website, and that was it was giving amazing content and putting right content in the right places, and that will encourage people to spend more time on your website. There'll be more interesting information. There'll be videos to watch. There'll be blogs to read. There'll be user-generated content to flick through and absorb. So the longer somebody spends on your website, the more pages they visit, the more credible Google will rank your website. So Google has a look at, as another factor, the time on site. And there's a key indicator I've got up here called a bounce rate, and this is for a website where the bounce rate is 42.13%. This is saying that 42.13% of visitors are going to a page and then leaving the site. They're not looking around. Now, if you've got a Kimberley 4-wheel drive tour and someone's gone to the Kimberley 4-wheel drive tour page, they may not need to go to other pages, but they will have a long length of time on your website. So Google's happy with that. If they go to your page and bounce out without spending time, that means that we either sent them to a page which has content that's not relevant to them, or maybe the whole business is not relevant. So it goes back to our keyword strategy. If we're chasing keywords that are too broad, so if we've got small group 4-wheel drive tours and we're targeting Outback Adventures, which is a very broad keyword term, we might be getting a lot of people that are self-4-wheel driving. So they're coming to the website, not for me, out they go. So we want to make sure that we get that keyword strategy really humming so it's relevant, high volume search terms into our website so people spend longer. Or we might decide we might decide to put some content on our website actually for people who are self-driving. Maybe in the future they'll use us. That means the site will be relevant, they'll spend time, it's a good way to get your keywords in. So just keep an eye on those measures. This is in Google Analytics. That's a free tool. Any web developer will plug that in for you or do a search. There are 100 videos on how to do it yourself, as long as you have a Google account. But keep an eye on those indicators. So if you go back to the first webinar, if we have a high-performing website, if we're ticking all those boxes, that will help you in terms of progressing towards a well-optimised website. The other thing we need to do is we need to keep our content new and fresh. So Google's robots and spiders will come to our website and they will crawl through the website. So what they do is they index the pages. So they will go through our website and they will look for keywords, they'll look at time on site and who's been visiting. And then they'll come back again. Maybe it's a month, we don't really know how often they come back. There are tools to have a look if you're that interested, but the key point is if they come back and nothing's changed, so the website is exactly the same, they will index your site again and they'll say, well, we didn't find anything new, so this time we'll wait a little bit longer. And then if nothing's changed again, we'll wait a little bit longer. So if you're not making the effort to give the website current, fresh, continuously updated content, Google sees that as a lesser experience for your customer. You're not paying as much attention as you should in making that an amazing experience for them, so you will lose points again in terms of your ranking. very important to update your content and get fresh content onto your website. And the most popular way to do that is a blog. So a blog, it's all we hear, blogs are everywhere now, but they have different values. And in the session on Thursday, we'll talk about the value a blog has from a social media perspective. But today I'd just like to talk about the value a blog has from a keyword optimization perspective. So a blog is an article, simple as that. The blogs that I pull together are 450, 600 words roughly with a few pictures. But what my blogs are is they are keyword rich. So I actually get someone to write the blog for me. I will put some dot points down. I will say, here are the keywords that I want in this particular blog. I'll have that written for me. I will then edit it, author it, and then I will post it. The blog needs to live on your website. And I'll just duck to the internet now. Let's have a look. I'll actually show you where blogs live on my site. So this is the website for my own business. And I can see here blog is up there front and center. And we can see here, so this is a really basic blog engine that you just literally insert it into a WordPress or any website for that matters. And you can see down the right hand side I've got some recent posts, and then I can read more, go to that blog. So these are very specific blogs that I'm writing because I'd like to get certain keywords onto my website, whether it's hashtags, whether it's SEO, whether it's about online reviews, email marketing. These are all relevant, video. This is all relevant content to my business. And if we go and look at the back end of my website, so I'm actually in the editing section now, just to show you how easy it is to upload a blog. So I'm going to click into blogs. Here is one I prepared earlier. So that's a blog that I've written. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go to my blog platform. I'm going to click on that, add a new post. I'm just going to add an image. So this blog is all about, it's talking the difference between Twitter and Facebook because they're very different tools, and I'll talk a little bit about it. So this is more leading into my next session. I'm just going to paste that content. I'm going to take my heading. I'll pop it up here. Put my name in. I'm just going to tidy it up a little bit. So remember, so the value of this is that yes, it's valuable content for people to read when they're on my website. So I have pages on my website which talk about Facebook and Twitter and social media in general. So I will make sure that this blog is not only sitting in this blog engine, but I'm going to tag this blog here. Social media, I'm going to tag it Facebook, and Twitter. So I now have tags on this, so I'm going to use that later on to make sure that this blog not only sits on my blog engine, but it's also going to sit on the pages that are relevant. So I'm just going to preview that. I can see here, I'm happy with the way it looks. Let's drop a space in there. I can see my tags down the side. So we'll just drop a space in there. So I'm happy with that now. So I'm going to publish that post. I'll share it. I'm going to be sharing this post actually. Okay, it's a draft. So here we go. So I'm published the Facebook or Twitter business dilemma. And I'm going to publish that change to my website. And if we jump out of there and we refresh, can see that blog is now, it's going to be on my website. And what I've immediately done there is Google's going to love it because I have got content that's keyword rich that has been entered into my website. I run blogs maybe, I don't know, every 3 to 4 weeks I will load one up. So I think once a month is probably fine, but as much as up to every 2 weeks if you'd like to. And it's really just about finding stories that are relevant to your audience, that are keyword rich, and we put them on the website, and that has good search engine benefits. We then share them through our social channels, which has other benefits, and we'll talk about that more on Thursday. The other thing that Google loves, and I think it's because they bought YouTube a while ago, a bit self-serving perhaps, but the story is that users, the use of video, and it's huge in travel, and I must admit I use it a lot myself. When I'm looking to search a new destination, the first thing I will do is do a video search, and just try and find someone who's taken a bit of home video on a particular area that I'd like to go. So that helps me with a feel. But you can see Quicksilver here. When you click on that website, that's a full playing video as soon as you jump onto that website. So Google will give you points. Okay.
I'm still breathing.
That's okay. You're going to stay with me. That's good. Excellent. Have some water, please. So Google will give us points in terms of our search. How many points? Who knows? But it's really relevant to users, the video. So if you have video on your website, have a video gallery, get it on your home page, you will get points in terms of your optimization. What you also want to make sure you do is that you actually optimize that video. So you can use YouTube or Vimeo. For me, YouTube's probably more relevant for tourism. And you can see, this is actually one of my own videos that I've put up there, but you can see down the bottom that I've put in a title, I've put a description, and I've put tags. So marketing consultant, strategy plan, brand strategy, marketing consultant, Cairns, Australia, Queensland, Hobart, brand planning, marketing strategy plan. So I have tagged that. So this video now is not only searchable in its own right. So if someone types in marketing consultant Cairns video, that might show up. But it also makes a stronger connection in terms of the video back-end content that sits on my website. So Google will see this content. So go to the trouble of making sure that you optimize your videos that you're going to have on your website as well through these really simple tools in Google. And of course, what we're doing is we're optimizing it to that keyword strategy, just like we will the blog, just like we will the content on the pages, just like we do the back end of the website. Then we've got off-page search engine optimization. So I will go into this more in Thursday's session. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to circulate that blog, because when I drop the blog on my Facebook page, I can then put a few dollars behind it to actually pump it out to a larger audience. If people click on it and go back to my website, that helps my search as well. So there's content that lives on my website that I have placed on Twitter, on whatever channel that we choose. And because that content is out there in the community, if people comment and share and go back to the website to have a read of it, again, Google says there are people interacting with content living on this website in the broader social community. Therefore, it is a relevant website. It's current. People are using it. So blogs have become more important than ever. And it's not just about who's going to read it on your website, as you can see. It's about getting the fresh content onto your website. It's about circulating it through the social networks so you get that link back to your website. Very important. And in terms of distribution of the blogs, I'm just going to show you a little app called Buffer. So I'll just sneak back to the web. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go into the actual page of the blog. So there's the blog sitting there on my website. I'm just going to copy the page title. You can see here, I mentioned before about the importance of getting the structure of your page titles right. So here we've got Inspired by Marketing.com.au and it's Facebook, Twitter. So I've got those keywords right up the top. So what happens is this blog could come up in Google just as well as a page could. when someone's searching. But what I'd like to do at the moment is I'm just going to copy it because I want to share it. And I'm going to go into Buffer. So Buffer is a free tool. Hootsuite is another one. You can use Hootsuite. And what I've got here is I have this linked up to my LinkedIn page, my Twitter page, my Facebook page, and my Google Plus page. Now, Google Plus isn't used by a lot of people, but it's a Google asset. So if it's Google's, I'll be using it because I'm looking to support their assets, just like YouTube and whatever else, to get my site up the rankings. So what I'm going to do here is I've got clicked on all 4 of those. So there we go, Facebook wasn't on. Now, if Perfect Theory says that I would have unique content for each of those. And it's not because Google wants unique content on our posts, it doesn't. It doesn't matter that I'm sending the one blog through all of those, because remember the blog lives on our website and that's where the content lives. There's only one item of that. All I'm doing is sharing it. But in Perfect Theory, we should have probably a bigger story on Facebook and less on Twitter and things like that. I get the reality of, business reality versus Perfect Theory. I don't have time to write 4 blogs. I do have time to do this. So what I'm going to do is just put a note in here. Okay, so understand the difference between Facebook and Twitter for Business. And then I'm just going to paste. So it shortened it for me. But I'm going to paste through that blog. And here we come. We can see that it's actually drawing that blog from my website. And what I can do is I can actually schedule this. So I can say add to my queue. So I can queue up. You can get all your blogs done if you want in one hit and then just queue them up. And you can say every second week or every month, just automatically send it out. But for this purpose here, I'd like to just go share now. So that's actually sharing that now. So if we went on to my Facebook page, actually, you can see it's on there. And what we can do there is we can boost that for advertising, and we'll be doing that on Thursday's session. But, if we went into my LinkedIn profile, you'd find that it would be there as well. And same with my Twitter and et cetera, et cetera. So that's a good way to actually to get that post out there nice and quickly. The other thing, and this is another more of a traditional means, but still really important, but you've got to be careful here. So backlinks are really important. So the more backlinks you have, and that is just simply another website linking to yours, so pointing to your website. So it's called a hyperlink. So if you're a tour company and you stay at a roadhouse, you want that roadhouse, their website saying, these guys stay with us, and you want to have a link back to your website, because Google says, okay, there's someone else in tourism that's trusting this website because they're pointing to them. You may not get a mountain of traffic, but Google loves the trust behind that. It could also be as simple as your Yellow Pages listing, or your True Local, or the Yelp. So there are a number of different listing sites that are really important. Now, Yellow Pages is very expensive, not a big fan, but one benefit is that you have that authority link back to your website. Be careful of companies on the web offering backlinks. So there are lots of dodgy backlinks that you can buy, and Google is really cracking down on these dodgy backlinks. So just the best thing you can do is to get links from your network and other sites of authority, your tourism body. Make sure you're on their website and that they link back to you as well. All of these links help with your credibility. Your Google business listing is probably the most important listing in terms of a directory listing. So if you don't have a Google business listing, which is what shows on the right, all you have to do is go into the Google business listing, just search for that, and this is what the homepage will look like, and you can set that up. And you can see here, this is my Google business listing. And it's good for a couple of reasons. You can see here that on the left, I've been able to add in, I think they're called extensions, so profile, blog, testimonials. So the first thing these do is they allow the visitor who's looking for my business to actually go directly to testimonials, if that's what they want, or my projects, or my profile. So it's a less click instead of going through the homepage, which is great. It also pushes down the list any competitors. And you can see here that you can see my website has ranked first. Then we've got my Facebook page is ranked. Then we've got Cairns Life magazine, which was an article on me. And then we've got my Yellow Pages is ranking. And that's for Inspired by Marketing. If we just go back to the web, let's just do a search. If we type in, there we go, Cairns Marketing Consultant. So this is obviously a really important search term for me. So we can see here that I'm ranking for my home page, for my contact page, for my profile page. There's one of my blogs is ranking in its own right. You can see someone else is paying to sort of be advertised down there. On the right-hand side here, we can see here that I've actually got Google reviews open because I have this listing. So this is really good. So Google loves reviews. So you can see in here that people have been kind enough to write good things about my business. So that gives me credibility in terms of Google's eyes. But it doesn't matter which platform you're on. I mean, I encourage Google reviews when people are kind enough to give them to me. Because it's Google's platform, so it makes sense to me to try and get them on there. But it could be TripAdvisor or any of the other platforms as well. So I don't think it matters too much in terms of exactly where those reviews are, because they're all linking back to your website. So your Facebook page links to your website, TripAdvisor links to your website, your Google Plus profile links to your website. So Google makes those connections for you. Your booking button, your booking.com, or all of those links. There is a link, whether it's on the consumer page or whether it's in your registration at the back, that brings the two together. And Google will actually map your business name and address, even if there's not a link to your website. It's obviously very intelligent system. So online reviews, really encourage you to ask people for online reviews. And if you'd like to write a review, good, bad, or indifferent, for myself after the session, you can on any of those platforms. And I encourage you to ask for reviews from your customers. They're really powerful as a research tool, but they're also really powerful in terms of your Google rankings. The other thing we need to do is Google has said, well, we're becoming, the social media is just such a big component these days in terms of how we're all behaving. So if somebody sends you a message on Facebook or they comment on something you've posted, if you ignore them, Google sees that. Same with the Google Plus platform or any of these platforms. Same with TripAdvisor. If somebody makes a comment, whether it's good or bad, and you ignore it, Google notices this. And what it's saying is, if somebody rang your phone, you'd pick it up. If they sent you an email these days, you'd respond. If people are trying to communicate with you on your social platforms and you're not responding, again, we will give you negative points in terms of your ranking, because people are trying to talk to you and you're ignoring them. I know a number of businesses have policies, a no respond policy on TripAdvisor. I can't tell you how much it's hurting your rankings, but I can certainly tell you it is hurting your Google rankings, because Google notices that someone's trying to talk to you and you're not responding to them. So making sure that you are engaging, whether it's just liking someone's comment, the direct messages are the most important ones to respond to. But if someone's commenting on your blog or whatever, you've just got to be across to make sure that you're responding back to those things.
We also have an interesting question from Dorte Maria.
Yep, thank you.
So she's asked, we've engaged a company to do our SEO. Mm-hmm. We've since stopped that contract. Now they won't hand over our Google business listing ownership and asking for money to release it to us. What can we do? We've told them it's against the Google policy, but they don't seem to care.
Gee,
do you have any advice?
Lawyer up. I'm not really sure. I mean, they certainly... the listing will be linked to your Gmail account, which if they set that up for you, what I would do is go straight to Google. So Google have people here in Sydney, actually, that you can talk to, or you can certainly live chat or email with. what they will do is they will certainly be on your side and they will fix this for you. So whether Google might decide to block the current business listing and set you up a fresh one, but there's no way a supplier can hold you to ransom on that. And I think you should bring that to Google's attention and go direct to Google on that is definitely your first point of call for that. Google will be very responsive. Sometimes they can take a little while to fix issues, but you generally find they'll get back to you quite quickly, and I think they'll be on top of this one. And certainly let the supplier know that this is your course of action. And perhaps you already have, but as a supplier, you don't want to get Google offside. That's really not a good place to be. So, and certainly don't pay a cent for that. There is no commercial value on those. There's no charge. So I'd bring it to Google's attention pronto. And it's really disappointing to hear that's happening.
She's hit you up again?
Again.
So she's also asked, what is the best channel to get in contact with Google, as she's already tried already?
Yeah, just online. Just go to the Google. Just try and find a Google contact page. Google Chat is very good, a live chat. I only access live chat when I'm on the AdWords. So if you sign into Google AdWords and you go into support, there's a live chat mechanism. I know they have an office here, but I'm not quite sure how you sort of contact them directly. So all I can suggest is try the live chat and just continue to try and contact them online, because I certainly have brought things to their attention before and had them resolved, and I've found they get back to me reasonably quickly, maybe a week, in terms of recognising the problem exists. It just might take a little while to get over the hump to solve the problem. But I think the other thing you can do is you can claim a business listing. So if you actually go online, you can actually say manage this listing, and then you'll have to verify that it's actually you. So go and try that, but maybe do a Google search and actually say someone is holding my business listing ransom. How do I fix it? Like just try some search terms, and I bet you there'll be forums or articles online which will talk about people who've had similar problems like you're having now, and the Google community, I'd suggest, will have answers there for you as well. I hope that's helpful, and I really hope you sort it out, because that's just not right, is it? Yeah.
She said, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So we've already talked about reviews. It really doesn't matter where they are. They can be on any of these platforms, any of the platforms at all. And yeah, they're really very good for your Google rankings. And you can also draw them onto your website. So I'll just sneak back to the web again for a minute. We can see here that we've got this review tab on my site. So this is a plugin. I don't use WordPress. I use a website called Wix, W-I-X. And I don't pay for this, but if I wanted to get all of my listings, and I would, but it just means that little review tab follows me. So I've got 7 of those reviews in here. If I wanted all 17, plus if I wanted to bring them in from Instagram and other places I have them, I would have to pay quite a nominal fee. It wasn't a big price. But in terms of if you're getting those reviews, let's get them on your website. And that little tab follows you everywhere on my website, no matter where you go. You can see that blog's up there now as well. So if you go into the trouble to get them, they're good for search. And they're also great for obviously converting business. So we finished 5 minutes early today. So with 5 minutes, I just might open up the floor to see if there's any more, if there's a last question.
Yes, so
there is, great.
We've got another tricky one from Dave. So Dave has said that we are a tour operator and one of our boats have a Facebook page by a previous employee. How would we get around getting that back, as the company doesn't know who it is and they won't respond to their messages?
Yeah, how do you go getting that back? You can go to Facebook and advise them of the situation, because what you'd ideally like to do is you'd like to get ownership of that page back with that following. So given the current owner is not the business owner, I've had clients in the past whereby you can forcefully take ownership of that page, providing it's set up as a business page. So for Facebook, you can have it set up as a personal page or a business page. if this person has a business page set up and they're not operating the business, you can try and migrate that across or pinch it back, so to speak. But first thing I would do is just, there'll be mountains of this online. This is quite common. So I would just simply do a bit of a search on Google. How do I retain the ownership of a Facebook business page that has been stolen? Something along that language. And you'll find forums and blogs. And there are also mechanisms online where you can contact Facebook. But I'd go to that forum first. And I know that you can lodge a request to have a page brought back to you. You'll prove your ownership of the business. And again, can take a little while. But I've certainly had maybe 4 or 5 instances where companies have been successful doing that.
David's back again. I think you touched on it, but he just said it's definite business page. What channel would I go through to contact Facebook?
Yeah, I do believe if you go onto your Facebook profile and go into it might be under your settings or your account, that there may be a way to contact Facebook there. They can make it difficult to find. If you struggle, I would type into Google. Every answer you can want on this topic will be in Google. I would type it in, how do I contact Facebook to reclaim my business page? And I'm sure you'll find an answer in there somewhere. I haven't done it in a while, but go through your page first and then see if you can find out the answer on a forum.
Oh, and they're coming in thick and fast.
Great.
We've got another one
Bring
from
them in.
Joanne.
We've got 4 minutes.
Joanne asks, was that reviews tab a WordPress plugin?
That one was actually for Wix. So I just run a different platform website, but I'm sure WordPress will have some sort of a plugin. There's probably a bunch of them. It might be one you have to pay for. Some of them may link to, TripAdvisor can be more difficult to get reviews in, but I've no doubt there is probably a number of WordPress plugins in terms of drawing reviews in. So whether they're Google reviews or whether they're coming in from your Facebook page or something else. So those plugins also allow people to leave a review on your website directly. I suggest you're better off to get the website, your reviews out in the social channels and draw them in, but it does give them a choice to leave a review directly on your website if they would like to.
And we have another one from Fiona. Fiona asked, she said the email she got about these webinars listed, this webinar was, the first of 3, and obviously it's the second.
Yes.
And she says, what is the topic title of the first webinar so she can follow up on it, please? Great.
High performance tourism websites. So we went through the first session in terms of the first thing we need to have is a website that converts business to bookings. So we went through the criteria in terms of exactly from my point of view and my experience what a high performance tourism website looks like. And today is about how do we get more people to that website. So what I recommended in the first one is really important if you're going to invest money. I see a lot of businesses investing a lot of money in SEO and AdWords, and they're just driving people to a very poor website. So that will damage your brand and will give you minimal opportunity to convert to business. So the first thing you want to do with your investment is make sure you've got a website that is just a beautiful website experience that converts to booking, and then get on the job of getting more people into that website.
That's it. You're just getting a lot of thank yous through now.
Thank yous. Fantastic. Well, that's been great. And Rachel, thank you very much for being by my side today. Website 2 is down, and go Queensland on Wednesday night, and signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.